The number of people in Wisconsin experiencing homelessness is on the rise. From rural communities to the state's largest city, more individuals, families, and children in our communities have no permanent housing. One organization that's working to help Milwaukee's unsheltered homeless is Street Angels. Founded nearly a decade ago, Street Angels staff and volunteers offer meals, support, and hope nightly on the streets of Milwaukee. Joining us is Dr. Jan Wilberg, President of Street Angels Board of Directors. Thank you for joining us on Connect MKE, Jan.
Thank you for having me.
Street Angels works specifically with the unsheltered homeless. Help us understand who those folks are.
Well, it's a very diverse group. There are families, and that's one of the disturbing things right now is that there's an increasing number of families typically found living in their cars, although about a month or so ago we found a family living in a tent. Most are single adults, and they have a wide range of experiences. Some have mental health issues, some have addiction issues, but I think sometimes that's overstated. I would say the vast majority of people are experiencing serious economic hardship. They can't afford an apartment. They can't find a job that would allow them to get housing. So it's a very diverse group racially, in terms of gender, age. It's really across the board.
As you said, one of the things that you're seeing is that you're seeing an increase because of people just not being able to afford housing, even if they're working.
Well, you've read the reports about the increased rents in Milwaukee and really across the country. And that increased rent, along with minimum wage staying stagnant, really means you could be working 40 hours a week and not be able to afford a place to stay. And we don't in Milwaukee, and most cities do not have what I call like super cheap housing. We don't have rooming houses, which is like a good thing and a bad thing because some of the rooming houses were not so great. But they did provide a housing option for some people. Residential hotels used to be something downtown, but we don't have those because of redevelopment. So there was a shrinkage of really easy access. I need to rent a room kind of housing for people. And meanwhile, the wages have been stagnant. And I remember one image when I worked in a warming room several years ago. People are asleep on the floor. In the morning, this young man got up. He went downstairs, washed up, and put on his McDonald's uniform. So he had a job. He had a job, but he could not afford a place to stay.
When we're talking about the increase that you've seen with the folks who you serve with Street Angels, there have been some significant increases that you've seen. Right. Can you tell us what those numbers are?
Well, before I tell you about the numbers, I want to make sure that everyone knows that Street Angels has two routes, a north side and a south side route, but we can't cover the entire county. So what we're seeing, even though the numbers are really increased, still represents a portion of the total, but we don't know exactly what portion of the total. So in 2024, we saw a total of 1,079 individuals who were experiencing homelessness that we documented. So we're very careful at Street Angels about making sure that someone is homeless and unsheltered before we count them. So that's unduplicated. That's 1,079 people unduplicated that we saw on our two routes last year. And that is, if you could believe it, a 40% increase over the year before and 115% increase over 2022. So it's been alarming to say the least, but it also means that we at Street Angels and other groups, and there are many other groups who are doing really great work with this troubled population, really have to up our game. We have to get more donations, more food. We have to be out there more. Very challenging.
How are you able to do that when you see that kind of an increase in a really short period of time? How does it impact the services you're able to offer?
Well, it means that a night of outreach, which typically would be from about 6 to 10 o'clock, now goes from 6 to maybe 1 or 2 in the morning. And remember, we have staff and we have volunteers who are willing to put in that kind of time, because we come up to a stop and more people than we've met before come to the bus. And so once they come to the bus, they're getting a hot meal, they're getting a bag lunch, and then if they have a pressing need, like they need underwear or socks or flashlights or a sleeping bag, we have to deal with that. So it's very time consuming, but it's also very resource consuming. But we have a great community behind Street Angels, financial donors and people who roll up with their trunks full of hoodies and long pants for people. The generosity of the community is extraordinary, really just extraordinary.
One of the things you've been able to do in 2024, because of the generosity of the community, was to start the mobile shower program. Tell us a little bit about that and what kind of difference has it made for individuals?
Well, you put yourself in the place of someone who's homeless and you think about your day-to-day life. Things like, where do I take a shower? How do I take a shower? And it's just very difficult. There are organizations that offer showers, but it's a very constrained time period and a lot of difficulties getting to them. So what we have wanted for a long time is the capacity to bring mobile showers to people. And through the generosity of Kohler Corporation and other donors, we have a shower trailer that is pulled by a truck. And we bring the shower trailer to predetermined sites. One of them is Fondy Market, where they have been just wonderfully generous with their hospitality, friendship. And another is a church in West Dallas, and we're continuing to look for sites. And we offer the shower, all the hygiene products that you would need, a change of clothes, lunch, and friendship. So people come and they hang out to talk to the volunteers, to talk to each other. It's really just been a wonderful tool for engagement, but it is such a lift for someone who's living outside to get a shower and a clean change of clothes. And it's really rewarding. It's just the most rewarding thing. But if you saw it coming down the street, you'd think this is incredible that people are moving a shower trailer through the town. But that's what we've been doing.
If people want to reach out and to help Street Angels, what can they do?
There's a lot of ways to help. There's always room for financial donations. We take donations of clothing, but we're pretty specific about what kind of clothing. We're looking for, sweatpants and hoodies and thermal underwear, that kind of thing that keeps people warm for both men and women. Clean, new underwear, not clean underwear, but new underwear, new socks. So we are always looking for that kind of donation, and we have donation hours that are posted on our website, which is streetangelsmke.org. We also have an amazing cadre of volunteers. We have people who make bag lunches. We have people who come in and help prep hot meals. So on a hot meal prep day, we could be preparing 150 to 200 meals right now, because that's how many people are on the street right now. In a small kitchen, and getting them out the door in heated bags and onto our buses for delivery. But that is one thing I want to talk about, too, is that the warming rooms are open now. And so we are seeing fewer people on the street, typically around 150 people who have not gone to warming rooms. But we also provide support with food and supplies to the warming rooms, because we're all about where the people are. That's where we take what we have to offer, whether they're on the street at this moment or temporarily in a warming room.
Well, Jan, thanks so much for being with us. And again, thanks for the work that Street Angels is doing to help our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're right back.